Hi, my name is Sarah Cottone. I graduated from Randolph in 2015 with a degree in English literature. I currently live and work in New York City. I work in an individual and institutional giving office for a non for profit publisher. I'm here to talk to you this morning in my apartment about managing a budget when you graduate from college. One of my greatest concerns about leaving Randolph was making enough money to work and live somewhere where I wanted to live and work while making enough money to support myself financially. Out of college, I've worked for the non for profit sphere, which does not support the most lavish of lifestyles. However, there are things that I've learned and ways you can live to manage your paycheck, especially some of your first paychecks, and still have money left over for fun. Now, something that I did when I graduated from college was write down all of my costs associated with living a postgraduate life. And I don't do it now. I hate to say that. I really, really should, because this made all of the difference in helping me prepare my budget in terms of what sorts of things do I spend money on, what days of the week are more expensive than other days of the week. For example, Sunday was always one of my most expensive days because it's when I went grocery shopping. I also recommend you do it by hand. There's some great mobile apps, and I know that everyone does everything on the phone nowadays, but for me, having just a physical record of it that I can look back to was more useful than just typing something in. Also, I found that it was harder, interestingly enough, it was harder to write down some of the things that I wish I didn't spend money on. For example, I spent $4 on a mango on a Friday. That seems silly. All of my expenses that were above $50 I put in a box. One Wednesday I spent $140. On a Sunday I spent $50 on groceries. Looks like here's my grocery list. So this is something that, especially when you're not quite sure what your day-to-day costs will be, writing it all down, you'll get into a rhythm and be able to look and see what sorts of things you can cut out and what sorts of things are essential. On that note, I also recommend making one of these, an adulting binder. I really seem like such a nerd now. I am, I guess. I made this the summer after I graduated college, and it holds all of my tax information, all of my medical bills, my car bills, all my pay stubs, and it's all organized in here. And when you sit down and do your taxes, which we don't even need to get into right now, but when you sit and do those for the first time, it's great to have everything in one place. It's also great to have all just a record in terms of how much am I spending on car payments and how much am I spending at the doctor, just being able to figure out what certain things cost, because planning ahead and figuring out your spending habits and what's necessary to spend on it's crucial. It's really what it is all about in terms of making a budget. I thought people were crazy when they said, okay, now that you have a job, it's time to start saving for retirement. I was like, what are you talking about? I have student loans. I have to pay my rent. There's just no time for that. I'll start saving for retirement when I'm 30. That's not a good attitude. It's in my job for individual giving. I always say to potential donors, I say, it doesn't matter the amount. Whatever you can give, it is, useful and productive. And that is the same for putting money aside for saving for retirement for the future. Now I think it's time to talk about fun and how it's important, to save and to pay your bills. If you're saving, you should also put money aside for having fun, because just as you can get burnt out at work, you can financially get burnt out and say, what is this all for? What do I make money for if I'm not living my life, or I'm not spending money on things that I want to? So Look at your budget, realistically see how much you can set aside for a long-term goal for fun.